Hey, it's Liz DiAlto, and this is the Untamed the Wild Soul Woman podcast. From body image, sex, spirituality, money and relationships, to motherhood, creativity, business, communication, and desire, Untamed the Wild Soul Woman is the place to come for real stories and powerful advice to help you reclaim and redefine womanhood in the 21st century. Elizabeth DiAlto here, your host for the Untamed the Wild Soul Woman podcast, and we are posting Ask Elizabeth a couple days late this week. I'm here in Kauai on vacation, and I was just exploring and bouncing around for the last 2 days, so I'm just now getting around to recording about new moon and full moon rituals, and this is a question that I get all the time, so I'm excited to just have a podcast episode now that I could refer people to, including some of my favorite resources and some of my own personal practices. Before we get into that, though, I do want to say, so if you're listening in real time, today is Friday, December 18th, and I am still taking applications for the Untame Yourself Women's Leadership Council. And to give you an idea of what that is, I'm going to be leading a group of up to 40 women through a group mentorship from January to early July in 2016. The 4 pillars that we're going to focus on in the mentorship are health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. What I find as I have run the Wild Soul Movement virtual program for over 2 years now, and as I ran 7 Untame Yourself intensives in 2015, both with one-on-one clients and with small, intimate groups of women, is that most of our struggles occur in those 4 areas of life: health, wealth, relationships, and spirituality. So if you are a person who wants to go deeper, who wants to have a fuller, more satisfying experience more success on your terms, and create the life that you want in those 4 categories: your health, your wealth, your relationships, and your spirituality, you can apply for the mentorship at untameyourself.com/mentorship. I'm also currently running just a little fun thing I'm doing on Periscope through December 24th called the 12 Days of Untame Yourself. So if you haven't, or if you have not, or currently are reading my book, Untame Yourself, Reconnect to the Lost Art, Power, and Freedom of Being a Woman, every day I'm hopping on Periscope at noon Pacific time, and the replays are available when you enter your name and email at untameyourself.com/12 days. And I'm just taking a deeper dive into the content of each chapter of the book. So we're a couple days in already, but the replays will be available through December 26th, and they're ranging anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. So they're just short snippet videos that you could watch or listen to. Just take a deeper dive and see some other questions answered around the topics and the content in the book. So if you haven't yet, you can grab the book at untameyourself.com/Amazon. And that concludes the announcement section of the podcast today. So let's get into full moon and new moon rituals. So if you have no idea what I even mean by that, it's something that I wasn't super familiar with or in the practice of until mid-2013. But it's really amazing, actually, to observe the moon cycle, the lunar cycles, and to do some rituals around the new moon every month and around the full moon every month. So something I've learned about the new moon is actually the moon cycle syncs up and correlates actually quite well to our menstrual cycles, our body cycles, which for those of you who listened earlier this week to my podcast interview with Lisa Lister, author of Code Red, we got all up into what those cycles mean for our bodies as women and how to use them as a way to connect with ourselves and learn a little bit more about being a woman and observing those cycles and the different phases. And so just as there are phases in our menstrual cycle, there are phases of the moon. And the new moon, like if you just think about the way the new moon looks in the sky, when the moon is new, it's when it looks like kind of just like a thumbnail, right? So it's also called the dark moon because the moon is not super present. It's just like a little sliver of the moon is visible, which means the moon is not up there lighting up the sky. So that dark moon is also symbolic for us as a great time to go inward and to set intentions, because the dark is kind of like a symbol similar to the season of winter, right? Like when it's darker for longer hours of the day, it's just a great time to be introspective and to reflect on what's going on in your life and set some new intentions. So one of my favorite resources for knowing specifically the characteristics of each new moon and each full moon is the website mysticmama.com, where she She gets astral insights from a bunch of different astrologers and stuff like that to let us know what signs the moon is in and what the specific energy of the moon is. And you can use those insights to help you design your own new moon ritual or set your own intentions. Something else that I like to do to help me set intentions is I like to use oracle decks. So if you're watching and you can see me, these are two of my favorite, my Isis Oracle and my Sacred Rebels Oracle. They're created by the same woman whose name is Alana or Elena. I don't know how to say it actually, Fairchild. And I've been meaning to reach out with her to see if I can get her on the podcast. So that'd be kind of cool if we can interview her. She creates these beautiful, beautiful decks with a lot of rituals in there as well. And so sometimes I'll pull some cards, I'll use her rituals, or sometimes I'll just create my own, or sometimes I'll just say my own prayers for whatever is up and whatever is present for me around the intentions that I'm setting. For that time, I'll do a meditation. I actually love to sit outside and moon bathe. So the same way as you like sunbathe to get a tan, you can moon bathe to just soak up the energy of the moon and whatever's going on, and you set intentions. And you don't need to set a ton of intentions. It doesn't need to be a million things. It could be like just 1 to 3 amazing things that you want to focus on for the following moon cycle, which just means until the next new moon. So full moons, in contrast, or when the moon is so big and bright and lit up in the sky. And you can think of the full moon as shedding the light on everything that's going on in your life and giving you the opportunity to release. So new moon is a great time to set intentions and call in the new things. The full moon is a great time to release anything that isn't serving you in your life, right? So you imagine like that big moon in the sky just lighting up and shedding its light on everything in your life that isn't serving you so that you can intentionally release. And one of the things I love to do in releasing is I love to do a burning ritual on the full moon. So I love to write down the things that aren't serving me and do the Ho'oponopono, the forgiveness practice, which you can find that at untameyourself.com/forgiveness. And we'll put all these resources. We'll put Mystic Mama, we'll put the Ho'oponopono, we'll put a link to Alana Fairchild's website. We'll put all of that in the show notes for you, which you can find at untameyourself.com/UW-podcast. So you can get those links and you can find those resources. But I like to, on full moons, and whether I have the time or whether I'm in a place where I could write things down and then burn it to release it, or just, set the intention to release these things and say some prayers and, ask my guides, ask the divine, ask my higher self to just like take these things away and help me to release them. So that's the overall gist of new moon and full moon. New moon is great for setting intentions. Full moon is great for releasing. Mystic Mom is a great resource to know specifically what's going on with them. I'll find a link. My friend Rochelle at lovekoya.com had a really beautiful, I don't remember if it was a new moon or a full moon ritual, like many, many months ago, earlier this year in 2015. We'll find that too. But if you're just interested, it's a huge rabbit hole that you can go down, and you could just always search full moon ritual or new moon ritual and see what other people do. And as always, take what resonates for you, take what feels really good for you, and then ditch what doesn't. And I always also encourage you, once you kind of get the gist of what other people do, to design your own, to see, how do you want to set intentions? What's your favorite way to do that? Is it writing it down? Is it sharing it with someone? Is it doing it in circle or ceremony with other people so you could share and be seen and witnessed? Or is it just like a private ceremony of your own where, you release however it feels good for you to release? Maybe you do some movement. Sometimes I like to dance my intentions or dance out or shake out the releasing of things. There's so many ways that you can go about it. So check out the resources. I hope this was useful and helpful for you. Thank you so much. And also, I want to remind you guys, I mentioned this in the beginning, but let me just close it out here. I am taking applications for that mentorship I mentioned through December 30th, and I'm wrapping up the interviews through the first week of January. So again, I just want to overemphasize, I'm so excited as I've been accepting women into the mentorship. I have about 9 or 10 women right now, and I'm doing more interviews over the next few weeks, and applications are coming in every day. When I do group things, the group that forms is always the perfect group. So this isn't just about you. It's also about the support system and connecting with women literally from all over the world. Right now we have women from like 4 or 5 different countries, which is kind of cool. So just one more reminder about that as we close out today's episode. Thank you so much, and we will see you or hear you, connect with you in some way here over the internet next time. Bye.
So when we get to menopause, actually, we are in our power. That's when the real priestess shit happens. Like society just oh, I can't even sometimes.
Yeah, actually, this hurts me, right? Like the
Yeah,
whole I'm interrupting you because I'm very passionate
do
about
it.
this.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
last year, it wasn't even last year, it was 2013. I started to get this craving for like a crone in my life, like a wise old woman to school me on like the
Hmm.
wisdom of being a woman.